All right. So what we started yesterday is that is that the instantaneous angle or the unmodulated carrier wave can be thought of as AC cos theta I of t. So this is basically the unmodulated carrier, okay, where AC being the amplitude, which we are not going to vary with anything. So we mostly will be focusing upon the angle here, the theta I of t, as we saw yesterday. It is 2 pi fct plus, we designated this as phi c. Okay, so this is for unmodulated carrier. For unmodulated carrier, by which I mean the information bearing signal or message signal is 0. Okay, so we are not considering the information signal right now. So this is at the stage at unmodulation. So we'll talk about modulation now. So the angle modulation means we need to vary the angle of this carrier, which is unmodulated. We need to vary the angle with respect to the information bearing signal m of t. So there are numerous ways, there are infinite number of ways with which we can vary this angle, but we will mostly focus on the two types. The first type that we are going to study is the phase modulation. The phase modulation, or in short form it is called as PM, is that form of angle modulation in which the instantaneous angle theta I of t is varied linearly with the message signal m of t. Okay, so the phase modulation by name itself says that the angle theta I of t is varied with respect to the message signal or the information bearing signal. So we are not going to touch anything about the frequency part here. The phase or the angle has the rotation speed of the vector as well as some fixed carrier phase. So there is a frequency and there is a phase here. So phase modulation precisely talks about the phase part of this angle. So where the phi c, which is a phase for the phase modulation, varied with respect to the information bearing signal. So it's basically, this is it's directly proportional to the information bearing signal. The directly proportionality means that we are varying the phase linearly. Okay, so this implies we can otherwise write that with a constant of proportionality, and we'll call this as, say, some kp times m of t. Okay, so with that, my theta I of t, the angle of the modulated wave now. Okay, so this is the angle of the modulated wave. Since we are varying with respect to the information bearing signal, will naturally become 2 pi fct, which we are not touching anything. So phi c, the phase of the carrier, will vary with respect to the information bearing signal. Okay, so the term 2 pi fct, as I told, represents the angle of unmodulated carrier with the constant phi c with set to 0. When phi c is 0, obviously this is the angle of the unmodulated carrier. So 2 pi fct represents the angle of the unmodulated carrier, and phi c is definitely the phase which is varying with respect to the information bearing signal, where kp here is called the phase sensitivity factor. So this is known as phase sensitivity factor. Okay, so which has the units. You can check the unit of the angle is radians. So this is definitely in radians. We expect the second half of this equation also to be in radians to match with the units. So this m of t, if it is considered to be a voltage signal, obviously the unit of kp would be what? Anybody?
It's a radians per volt.
Correct. So it's radians per volts. Okay. So phase sensitivity factor can be defined in terms of radians per volt, just to considering that m of t is a voltage waveform. And all in all, my modulated signal or the PM phase modulated signal or waveform now can be written as S of t, as we are not going to modulate with respect to the carrier amplitude but with the angle. So theta I of t I'll be replacing with this equation now, so which is simply 2 pi fct plus kp m of t. Okay, so this is going to be my the equation for the phase modulated waveform. Okay, let me call this as some equation 1. Okay, so how about frequency modulated signal? So similarly with respect to the phase variation, we are going to look for the variation of the variation with respect to the instantaneous frequency. Here it was instantaneous angle that we varied. Now similarly, we will try to look for the variation with respect to the frequency, and that second type of angle modulation is your frequency modulation. All right. So in short, as you know, this is called as FM wave. Okay. So this FM wave can be written very similar to the phase modulation signal. So now we are going to change the instantaneous frequency of the unmodulated carrier. Yesterday we have seen that instantaneous frequency is defined as Fi of t is equal to Fc, which is the carrier frequency. The carrier frequency is that frequency which is unmodulated. Now, the frequency which gets added to this should be in proportional to the message signal or the information bearing signal. So similar with respect to my phase modulation, where the angle instantaneous angle was varied with respect to a message signal, where 2 pi fct was the phase of unmodulated carrier, and I varied with respect to message signal. Similarly, now I'll take the instantaneous frequency, which fc being the frequency of unmodulated carrier. Now I'll vary this with respect to m of t, but there is a constant of proportionality which is kf, which is very similar to the kp here. Okay, so the fi of t is the instantaneous frequency for the fm modulated wave. Okay, so here very similar to our phase sensitivity factor for PM wave, k suffix f, k subscript f can also be called as similarly a frequency sensitivity factor. Okay, with respect to the unit, it's very similar to the previous one, but unit in this case would be radians. Sorry, this is not radians. What could be the unit of this? Since this is a frequency, this will be of what
So
unit?
hertz per volt.
This will be hertz volts. That's correct. So this will be hertz per volt. Okay, so if this is instantaneous frequency, how can we write the modulated wave? So the FM modulated wave, we know that FM modulated wave can be written as S of t is equal to AC cos theta I of t. Now theta I of t is not, theta I of t is not similar to the PM signal or the phase modulated signal, where we are varying the phase of the carrier. Now we are varying the frequency of the carrier, but we have the instantaneous frequency, but we need to get to the instantaneous angle. So how do we get the instantaneous angle? I think we have done in the previous session. So if I go back to the yesterday's session, so this was the relation between instantaneous frequency and instantaneous angle. So where theta fi of t is nothing but 1 over 2 pi d theta I of t by dt. So which is the relation between the instantaneous frequency and the instantaneous angle. Now we have the instantaneous frequency, we need to get the theta I of t dt. So how do we get? We just have to integrate on both the sides. That also we did yesterday. We need to integrate on the both the sides and get the modulated waveform. So we'll do that now. So with that, we can write theta I of t is nothing but 2 pi integration of fi of tau d tau. Okay, so with that we will get this as 2 pi. Fi of tau is nothing but fc plus kf times m of t. So I'll just try to substitute that factor. So this is fc plus kf m of tau d tau. Okay, of course this is the variable with respect to t here. So this will give me 2 pi fct plus kf times, sorry, so that's 2 pi factor is also there. I should not be missing that. So 2 pi gets multiplied with both the terms. So this is 2 pi. Of course, kf is a constant of proportionality. Integral 0 to t m of tau d tau. Okay, so with that, the modulated wave, the frequency modulated wave will become AC cos. Now this theta I of t is the entire term, correct? So this is the entire term. So I'll have to represent in the braces with the entire term 2 pi fct plus 2 pi kf integral 0 to t m of tau d tau. Okay, so if this is the phase modulated waveform or the phase modulated signal, so this is my FM or frequency modulated signal. So if any doubt, please ask at this point. This is how we define two types of angle modulation with as PM and FM signals. Okay, any questions at
Sir,
this point?
sir.
Yes.
So when will you share these slides? Sir?
Yes,
Can
yes,
you
go
share it?
ahead.
Sir? Slides, can you share
Okay, if you have questions specific to this derivation, I will share. Sharing of the contents is not a problem. I'll share the lectures, I'll share the content, everything will be shared. That's not a worry. Okay, you can just ask the doubt if you have at this point.
Sir,
Okay.
sir,
Yes.
so you told first only the message signal is zero. So the M
Okay.
of t is zero, you
That's
told.
unmodulated carrier.
Only for the carrier you're saying.
Right. So this is the yes, this is the unmodulated carrier. So where theta I of t is simply 2 pi fct plus phi c.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is the amplitude of the carrier, this is the frequency of the carrier, and this is the phase of the carrier. So these are the three parameters of the carrier itself. So this is not the case with any modulation. Okay, so these parameters 1, 2 and 3 are the parameters or the attributes of the carrier without any modulation. Now if you take the modulation, you have to vary one of these three parameters with respect to the information bearing signal. Okay, since we have already studied about amplitude modulation, we are not going to vary anything, the carrier amplitude. We are going to vary the frequency and the phase of the carrier with respect to m of t. Okay, first thing is phase modulation, where we will vary the phase of the carrier with respect to the message signal, and hence this signal or the phase modulated signal is the modulated wave which is varying with respect to the message signal or the information bearing signal.
Yes, sir.
Hope that is clear.
Yes.
So,
Okay.
what is the
Yes.
difference between T and tau?
Okay, so this is just a integral parameter with which since there is a t which will convert into the final expression. Say m of tau is some known signal. I'm not substituting anything to m of t right now. So m of t could be any random signal. Later we can specifically substitute m of t or m of tau as some cos, say if I want to say that, say m of tau, if I want to substitute as say some cos, say 2 pi f tau. Okay, so if I substitute here, I have to integrate it and replace the variable tau with respect to t. The entire equation will come back to the variable t itself. So this is just another variable, the dummy variable, which will be used as the integration part. Is
Okay.
that clear?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So right now we are not looking for any specific nature of the information bearing signal. We are just moving with respect to m of t as it is. Okay. So this is the summary of the angle modulation, where we have derived a few of the expressions. The first thing is the phase modulation. The phase modulation, the varies with respect to the angle of the phase modulation varies with respect to the message signal. If the instantaneous phase of the phase modulation is this much, instantaneous frequency fi of t. How do you obtain this instantaneous frequency of your phase modulated signal? The instantaneous frequency, what is the relation between theta I of t and fi of t? Yeah, I think that was dealt in the session 1, as I told. In the session 1, if I go back to session 1, this is the relation that we are going to use most often. The second equation, the relation between instantaneous frequency and instantaneous angle is used most often, and that's how you find the relation between theta I of t and fi of t. Okay, so here the fi of t is nothing but 1 over 2 pi d theta I of t over dt. Okay, or theta I of t is the integration of fi of t. So if this is the instantaneous phase of PM wave, you can arrive at the instantaneous frequency fi of t using this expression. And finally, we have deduced that the phase modulated wave has a form of cos 2 pi fct plus kp times m of t. Similarly, in case of frequency modulation, we are going to vary the instantaneous frequency. So we started off with this, where instantaneous frequency is fc plus kf times m of t, where kf is the frequency sensitivity factor. And with that, if you want to write instantaneous phase, again utilize the same expression to get back to the instantaneous phase. Okay, so for both PM and FM wave, you can write an expression for instantaneous phase and instantaneous frequency using this relation. And all in all, the frequency modulated wave can be written concisely with this expression. So this is a summary of the two types of angle modulated signal. Okay, moving ahead, we need to look for certain properties of these angle modulated waves. So yesterday there was a question about non-linearity. So I'll be picking one of the properties of non-linearity of a non-linearity property of this angle modulated wave. Okay, fine. So going ahead with the properties of angle modulated wave. Yesterday I was showing this particular example as well. Say if the modulating signal, whether it could be kind of a completely random signal or it could be a smooth cosinusoidal wave, the AM signal will vary with respect to the amplitude. Up to this point, as you can see, there is no variation in the amplitude. This is fixed. So the amplitude of the carrier will also be fixed up till that point. When the modulated signal varies with respect to its amplitude, the amplitude of the AM signal will also vary accordingly. And similarly with any other kind of wave. But in case of FM or PM, as you can see, up to this point, the same condition holds good. The frequency of the carrier doesn't change at all. But as the amplitude of the modulating signal or the information bearing signal varies, according the frequency also varies. And similarly with phase modulation. But there is a subtle difference between FM and PM here. As you can see, both look very similar, but here the frequency is varying, but here the phase is varying. this is very difficult to differentiate. Say if I don't give you whether it is FM or PM, and if I give you just these signals, it will be very difficult to identify whether it is FM signal or a PM signal. So that's one of the property of this angle modulated signal that we list out right away. Okay, the first point here, the first property that is very important part of this analysis, where the first property is the constancy. The first property is the constancy of transmitted power. So what do you mean by that? Can anybody tell? What do you mean by the constant transmitted power? Do you have any answer?
So the power doesn't depend on the amplitude or the frequency or the phase.
Exactly. So you define the power or the average power of any varying signal or any alternating signal or any AC signal as square of your RMS, that is V square RMS upon R, right? So this is how you define your power, average power consumption. So in case of AM signal, there is a variation in the amplitude. In the sense, there is a variation in your voltage level. So there is a variation in the power consumption of the amplitude modulated signal. But in case of FM and PM, both are types of angle modulated wave, angle modulation. So as you can see, there is no variation in the amplitude of these waveforms. So we are going to only vary either the frequency or the phase of the carrier. So with that, I can say, if I take R as unity, 1 ohms, so this average power consumption of the modulated wave, angle modulated wave, can be written as simply as half AC square, where VRMS is Vm by root 2. I take or the peak of the voltage as AC, and AC by root 2 whole square is half AC square. So this is with respect to the power consumption for 1 ohm resistor. Okay, so there is a constancy of transmitted power in case of angle modulated wave, right? That's an immediate the property that can be derived out of that. So the second property that can be talk of is the non-linearity. Okay. So there was a question about non-linearity yesterday, and I told that I'll be taking that in this session. Okay. So first, you should understand what is non-linearity factor. You might have been introduced with your signals and system course, but I'll revisit here just for the sake of clarity. So for non-linearity, you know that. So if I just want to talk about the non-linearity, it says that, and in fact the linearity, say if there is a system, say, which is processing the signal with some function, say if there is an input of the signal, say x of t, it processes this signal and outputs y of t. Okay, and with the proportionality increasing in input, the same proportional will be reflected at the output. That's the property of linearity. So it linearly varies with x of t. In other words, y of t is directly proportional to x of t. When x of t increases with the same amount of proportion, y of t also increases. If x of t decreases with the same amount of proportion, y of t also decreases. So mathematically speaking, the linearity can be written as if you multiply or if you amplify the signal, say x1 of t, the same amplification is reflected at the output of this function. And say if there is another signal, say amplified by a factor b, the same amount of amplification is also looked at the output, is also reflected at the output. And we say this particular block or some black box is linear as long as it obeys this superposition principle. So you might have already seen that. So superposition principle says that, say if x of t consists the, if I can write this as a times x1 of t plus b times x2 of t in general, and say y of t similarly a y1 of t plus b y2 of t. Okay, so what I mean by this here is, say if I process a times x1 of t, if it is processed through this functional block, sorry, if it is processed through this functional block, so that is it is giving you a times y1 of t, and similarly if you process x2 of t, it is giving you b times y2 of t. Then if it is a linear, then the function which takes x of t, which is linear combination of x1 of t and x2 of t, must give the output y of t. Hope that is clear. So this is a property of linearity, which any function or which any system which doesn't obey this kind of property is nonlinear. Let us take this example for our angle modulated case very quickly. So if I take an example of our PM signal itself, say our phase modulated signal, say for PM wave, how can this be applied, or how can this be derived or deduced that whether a PM wave is a non-linear modulation or a linear modulation? So let's take two signals very similar to the previous case, say M1 of t and M2 of t, two information bearing signals which are mutually independent of each other. Say the modulation, after you process through modulation process, say this gives you S1 of t as modulated wave, and say M2 of t if it gives you another modulated waveform which are independent of each other. How can you write S1 of t? We know mathematically it can be represented as AC cos 2 pi fct. We have written this equation right today. So this as kp, which is a phase sensitivity factor, times information bearing signal m1 of t, and this similarly can be written as AC cos 2 pi fct plus kp m2 of t. Okay, so these are the two modulated signal, and let us say there is something known as modulated m of t wave, which is a linear combination of these two signals. I take those constant a and b as unity for the simplest case, where I also took similarly a times x1 of t plus b times x2 of t. Now I have made this a and b as unity, and I'll make linear combination of these two message signals. And if I process through PM modulation or phase modulation, what is my S of t? Okay, so S of t, I can write this as AC cos 2 pi fct plus kp times m of t. But what is m of t now? M of t is a linear combination of these two message signals, so which will take this as m1 of t plus m2 of t. Okay, so this is my modulated wave with a linear combination of the message signal. Can anybody answer me that this equality S of t, is it equal to S1 of t plus S2 of t? Does this equality hold good?
No, sir.
Okay, so this is very evident that this equality is not at all, I mean, this equality doesn't hold good in case of PM modulation. So this is an example, or this is just an instance to show that angle modulated wave is non-linear. Okay, I hope that is clear. Okay, with just mathematical way, we can say that the second property of the angle modulated wave is non-linear. Okay, non-linear is the process of angle modulated signal. Okay, if there is no question, I can move ahead with the third property. Okay, the third property is about irregularities. Sorry. So this is one of the interesting property of angle modulated wave. So there is an irregularity of zero crossings. So what do you mean by zero crossings here? So you might have had a close look about uh, uh, zero crossings earlier, where in case of angle modulated signal, whether it is FM or PM, you can see that if I can zoom in a little bit. Okay. Where in case of amplitude modulated, the frequency of the carrier doesn't change, right? So frequency of the carrier is same as the frequency of the modulated wave. So these zero crossings, the zero crossing in the sense whether the waveform is moving from positive to negative or negative to positive. So these are the points where there are zero crossings. So there is a uniformity in zero crossing in case of amplitude modulated wave, but in case of angle modulated, either with respect to PM or FM, there is an irregularity. So just given these waveforms, you will not be able to identify or not able to detect the uniformity in the zero crossings. So there's a third property that is noteworthy here, where there is an irregularity of zero crossings. Okay, so I'll not, there is no mathematical interpretation of this, but this is just an observation that can be made out at this point. All right. So similarly, we can list down the fourth property. This is very similar to the irregularities, but only one thing that you should note down with the irregularity here. In all cases, there is you cannot say that there is an irregularity in case of angle modulated waves. There are two special cases in which there you may find the regularities. So the regularity may happen if the information bearing signal m of t, if it is linearly varying with respect to t, whether it is increasing or decreasing, then you may find the regularity in zero crossings. Okay, so this is one of the exceptions or the special cases for the regularity of zero crossings. And there could be another case, special case or the exception case in case of regularity of zero crossings. If m of t is maintained at a constant value, say m of t is say some dc value, so there is no modulation at all. So your modulated wave will have uniformity in its frequency or the angle. So you may find the regularity of zero crossings in these two special cases. Okay, so make sure that there are exceptions in case of this third property. Okay, so
Sir, are
moving
there any
ahead with
disadvantages of zero crossings, irregularity?
definitely yes. This is one of the property which makes our life very complex, where the modulation is also complex, the demodulation is also complex. So in case of amplitude modulation, you would have had just envelope detector, or take the snapshots of the variations in zero crossings to demodulate. So that was an easy part of the receiver. But in case of angle modulated signal, since there is an irregularity in zero crossings, the demodulation process is a little complex. Okay, that's the disadvantage if you're talking about this third property. Okay.
Sir, is there a proof for the first exception of irregularity?
M of t, yes, you can say that. If m of t is, say, it's increasing forever, say if m of t is the message signal, if that increases, say if I have to take the FM signal or the PM signal, say this factor, say I'll take just m of t here. Say if m1 of t keeps on increasing forever, you will have the rotation of this cos uniformly. In the sense, if I want to be very specific to that, I'll take that question. Okay, so if I pick the PM wave, if I pick the PM wave S of t as AC cos 2 pi f ct plus kp times m of t. Okay, you know that the argument of cos will vary with respect to m of t. So m of t, if it is varying linearly, say if it's a linear increasing in with respect to time, then the angle will also vary uniformly. There is no irregularities, or there is no non-uniform variation of the angle, unlike the case with the random information signal. So if m of t is increasing uniformly throughout the timeline, then your cos, the angle, or in other words, the rotation of the vector AC, the rotation of the vector AC will rotate with a uniform speed, whether it is clockwise or anti-clockwise. So it will rotate, I mean, a full circle. When it reaches full circle, it comes back and again it starts rotating. So the rotation of the vector in case of phase modulation or frequency modulation with a linear increasing of message signal is also a constant. Hope that is clear.
Yes, sir.
Is
Yes,
that
sir.
clear? Okay. All right. Okay, the fourth property, if you don't have any question, we'll move about with the fourth property. The fourth property is with respect to its observation, where you can say that visualization of angle modulated waves is difficult. As I told earlier, if you are given with just two waves, it's very difficult to identify the nature of the message signal. So in case of amplitude modulation, the envelope of your amplitude modulation, in fact, was nothing but the amplitude or the envelope of this. If I just try to join all these amplitudes, it was matching with your message signal. So there is one-to-one correspondence between the amplitude of these two. But in case of angle modulated signal, it is very difficult to identify the nature of the message signal. So this is also one of the property or the difficulty in understanding the nature of the angle modulated wave. Okay, so going ahead with the fifth property. Of course, this will take in the next class. There is a trade-off between transmission bandwidth, it is denoted shortly as BT, for improved noise performance. Okay, compared to your AM signal, angle modulated signals will have an enhanced improvement in its noise performance. They will be more resilient to, or they will be more not so prone to noises. So there will be much improved performances with respect to noise. However, you have to pay the price for the increasing in bandwidth. Okay, so bandwidth of angle modulated signal is larger compared to the AM signal. AM signal or the amplitude modulated signal is kept as a reference in case of analog modulations. Okay, so with respect to amplitude modulation, the bandwidth is much larger, but in case of amplitude modulation, bandwidth is smaller, but it suffers a lot with respect to noise. But with its improved noise performance, angle modulated signal are preferred. That's what is the quality of your FM radio stations that you hear in your metro cities, where if you compare with the older radios, where AM was the earlier transmission technique that was used to transmit the signals. It used to be very noisy, but if you can listen to a good stereo music on FM stations, that's with the improved noise performance of such technique. Okay, so this but how much is improvement or how much is the bandwidth of FM signal is the second part of this lesson. We will take slowly into the next class. Okay, any question at this point?
Sir, all this trade backs and all we have for FM, right? So all
Yes.
the so
Yes.
why we don't have any PM radios like that?
It's
That
a
also
PM. I
applies to
mean,
PM.
yes, you call it as that's a good question, but I know immediately I'm going to take that. FM signals, although we say it is a frequency modulated signal, but indirectly the phase of the carrier is also varying. So if you vary the phase, say the question here itself, I can say if you vary the phase of the signal, indirectly you are varying the frequency of the signal, because both the terms are the arguments of the cause itself. So if you vary the frequency, indirectly you are varying the phase, and if you vary the phase, indirectly varying the frequency. Although we call separately as PM signal and FM signal, but both are very similar to each other. That's the reason we'll never talk much about phase modulated signal. We always talk about frequency modulated waves because both are same, very similar to each other. That's the next part of this lecture, where I need to take a relation between PM and FM. So interestingly, the phase modulated signal and frequency modulated signal are one and the same. If you look at their equations, if I come back to the this slide, if you look at their expression, this is your phase modulated signal and this is your frequency modulated signal. Right here, I can generate. You say if I'm given a PM wave, I can generate an FM wave. If I'm given a FM wave, I can generate a PM wave in a very simple fashion. Okay, so I'll try to generate, or I'll use phase modulator. Say if I have a phase modulator with me, and if a message signal is supplied to it, say if there is m of t, which is message signal which is coming, what should I do, or what block should I do if I'm given a phase modulator to generate an FM wave? Can anybody answer this question? What should be the nature of this block given phase modulator to you to generate an FM wave? I hope I am clear with the question. Say I'll be giving you phase modulator. So this black box will be generating a PM signal, but I expect you to generate frequency modulated wave given an other block to design. So what kind of block will go into this?
Integrator.
Exactly. So this is simply an integrator. So if I want to write it precisely, so this is simply an integrator block. Okay, so an integrator m of t will integrate this. Of course, 2 pi kf is a constancy with which I have to multiply, and rest is nothing but the same as your PM modulated wave. So this is how I can generate an FM wave. Very similar to that, if I given a message signal or information bearing signal, and if you are given a block of frequency modulator, say this block, I'll say that it performs frequency modulation. How do you generate a PM wave? So very similar to the previous one. All you need to do is, okay, all you need to do is the opposite of the previous one, which is your differentiation. Okay, so there's only the difference between the generation of PM and FM wave. That's why if you have a frequency modulator, you can always generate a phase modulation wave, or if you are given the other way around, you can also generate FM wave. That's the reason if you talk, or if you analyze FM wave or frequency modulated wave to an extent, this indirectly also covers your phase modulation technique. That's why we don't talk about PM stations as to answer precisely to your question. We usually call those as FM stations only. Is that clear? Whoever had asked the question.
Yes, 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 yes.
Okay, fine. Okay, this is what I was expected to cover in this session. So tomorrow I'll come up with different types of frequency modulation signal. As I told, we'll be focusing on FM signals. So there are 2 types of frequency modulations. So that goes with a little derivation part, with which I will try to deduce the bandwidth of the frequency modulated waves in 2 ways, and then we'll slowly move into the demodulation part of, or the generation and degeneration of frequency modulated waves, which to complete the first half of the unit. It will take 2 to 3 more classes to conclude with the first half of this unit with respect to angle modulation. Later we'll move on to the random variables. Okay. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer.
So what exactly is a constant of proportionality, sir?
Okay. Constant of proportionality is the where it's just a integer value. It could be an integer value or it could be anything. Say, as I told, the phase of the carrier is varies with in proportional to m of t. Okay, so this phase of the carrier varies with m of t, but it could be equated to some 2 times m of t, or say 4 times m of t, and so on. Okay, so this multiplier is fixed. The multiplier with which I'm going to multiply the original information signal is always fixed. So it doesn't make any difference with respect to the variation in the carrier phase m of t.
So what factors does this constant depend on? Is it just like the carrier weight, or does it depend on anything else?
Okay, it definitely depends on the various factors. If I want to say, if I'm amplifying a signal using your MOS devices, so MOS devices by default, it comes with a fixed amplification factor, or the gain, a small signal gain that you usually call, right? So if I want to vary the signal at the gate of your MOSFET, say at the gate of your MOSFET, if you have supplied, say if it's an NMOS, if I'm specifically talking. So if the gate of the MOSFET, if you are supplying your message signal, and at the drain, if you are supplying your carrier signal, so if you are trying to take output at the source, so this doesn't directly vary with respect to message signal. This will add its own amplification factor or the gain factor with the configuration that you will be using the MOS device. Okay, so practically speaking, this is just it could be a small signal gain in case of amplifier.
Okay.
Okay. Any questions? Any specific questions to what we did today or what we did yesterday? All right, so I'll check the chat box if I find any questions. Okay, so the answer to that question was integrated block. All right, so if that's all the question, we can wind today's session. So I'll just look into the attendance as we did yesterday. So this automated attendance that I'll be taking every day. Okay, I think I missed that. Yes, I have the attendance today. All right, so that's all with respect to today's session. We'll come back on Monday. That's the regular class at 9 o'clock. So please make sure that you all be present at the sharp at 9. Yeah, thank you.